Welcome to highlights from the penultimate round of the 2020 CUPRA SimRacing Series from the legendary Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for an endurance race. It'll be David Nagy on pole position ahead of Adam Pincez, and then Martin Barner and Gianmarco Verducci behind on the run in towards La Source for the very first time. The inside line would be the one that would prevail when David Nagy would be knocked off of the lead of the race by Pincez on the run towards Eau Rouge. It would be Adam Pincez leading from Nagy, from Gianmarco Verducci and Martin Barner behind. A lot of pressure being dealt out on the run to Les Combes for the first time. Further down the order, our guest driver for the day, Alexander Dornadon, the 2019 champion, was getting pinched there from Pfeiffer. Then there was some concertinaing and some contact behind from Kirill Antonov, which sent him packing down to the back of the field. The championship itself may well be settled, but Moritz Lerner is looking to secure himself second in the championship, and putting a move here on Tim Yarshall into the final chicane will help him gain extra time and extra points on Bent Banky behind. On board with Bent Banky into that chicane. A lot of moving around here as Barner's defending from Moritz Lerner. Tim Yarshall way too hard over the curb on the inside. Barner still holding positions. This would all cost them time to the top three, who were continuing to pull away. Bent Banky would try and make a move on Tim Yarshall. It wasn't good enough. The momentum on the outside of La Source was enough for Tim Yarshall to hold on to that position. Moritz Lerner was wasting no time. He'd try and make a move on Martin Barner around the outside of the chicane, gave him the inside for the final part of it. He'd run Barner out wide, and Tim Yarshall was having himself appeased. Lerner did make the move on Barner, and Tim Yarshall as well into La Source was also able to thread his way through. On board with Pfeiffer, who would overcook the final chicane, make contact and dive it down the inside of Bent Banky, still make it to the apex. At this point, Moritz Lerner decided it was a good idea to head down pit lane. Juan Manuel Gomez would gain the position on Banky, and Pfeiffer wasn't able to get through. The two, though, would come together again at the bus stop, contact as they were coming across into the braking zone, and Banky would skip the chicane. Pfeiffer would actually make it, but with that skipping of the chicane, it would be a slow down penalty for Bent Banky that would cost him the position to Pfeiffer and drop him further down the order, as even into La Source he still hadn't served the entire penalty, so would have to slow down on the run to Eau Rouge. David Nagy, a rare mistake from him, a collector's item if you will, overdoing La Source, opening the door for Gianmarco Verducci. No panic though for the Hungarian. He'd just drop into third place and into the slipstream of the Italian ahead. Contact between Martin Barner and Tim Yarshall would send those two nearly over the chicane, costing them even more time to Moritz Lerner, who'd already pitted. Somehow, though, Tim Yarshall had received a slowdown penalty, dropping off the back of Martin Barner. He'd have it sorted by La Source and would be able to carry on in that position, but a long way down the order. Gianmarco Verducci applying pressure to our race leader Adam Pincez, bails out of it though, dives into the pit lane and becomes the first of the leaders to enter pit lane and take his required service. On board with Moritz Lerner through turn one. You can see here he's gained time on Gianmarco Verducci. It's not going to work out in potential victory for him, but it will pull him away from the rest of the pack. The top two, Pincez and Nagy, both enter the pit lane a lap after Gianmarco Verducci. They'd both come in and receive their service. They would both come out fairly ahead of Gianmarco Verducci, so it would work out, the overcut this time working out in favour of the two ahead. Gianmarco Verducci wouldn't be too panicked. He'd sit on the back of David Nagy and push him back up to Adam Pincez, at which point he would make his attempt for the race lead, going around the outside of the final part of that final chicane and giving the inside into La Source. Heavy on the brakes, Adam Pincez on the outside. The momentum would not work for him, and David Nagy, our champion, would take the lead of the race. Heavy on the brakes into the final chicane from Gianmarco Verducci, and it would be second place heading the way of the Italian with a fairly abrupt move, and he'd be up searching for his first race victory in RaceRoom competition. Tim Yarshall on the back of Martin Barner, the battle for fifth place. Barner desperate to hang on. Moritz Lerner was a fair way up the road at this point, and then this move from Tim Yarshall, an excellent move into campus, very aggressive, very late on that move in there, gets him fifth place and sets his sights on the German ahead. Gianmarco Verducci would be passed by Adam Pincez as he was kind of forced to potentially make an overtake on David Nagy. This is the final lap of the race. Nagy able to hang on at least for now, but with Pincez behind, applying all of the pressure he could into Ravage. The door wasn't open there for David Nagy, covering it off. Beautiful in defence, heavy into the final chicane. Gianmarco Verducci looking to the inside, the three of them. A class act running away from the rest of the field. It wasn't going to be, and David Nagy takes yet another victory this season. The top three, though, take a bow. That was a class act.